What's up guys, and welcome to my first video of a series on Star Wars The Force Awakens. So this will be a theories and opinions video series, and I'll start by saying that obviously since this is theories and opinions video, there will be some spoilers. So if you're not interested and you haven't seen the movie, I suggest you exit the video, go in theaters, watch the movie, and then come back later and you'll be able to follow pretty much what I want to say and understand a lot better. So the first video of this series will be on the new main character of this trilogy, and her name is Rey. She's played by Daisy Ridley, and to be honest, as soon as I watched the movie the first time, I saw it 4 times, okay? So when I saw it the first time, I immediately fell in love with this character. I think it was very well played by Daisy Ridley, and it brought a new aspect to Star Wars in terms of a female character being the main protagonist, and she kills it. Seriously, she's very good, and I think she pretty much sets up the table for the rest of the trilogy in a brilliant way. Because when you watch the movie, you understand that she's not just important in this movie. She's gonna be the main character in the rest of the trilogy, just like Luke Skywalker became the main character in episodes 4, 5, and 6. So there are lots of questions around Daisy Ridley's character because we do not know exactly who she is and if she has any link to any old character of the Star Wars series. So in order to position her character a little bit better, I decided to keep 3 main theory groups, which will allow us to really identify who she is and understand what she could be and what her role is going to be in the next movies. First of all, I must say that I will not keep the Obi-Wan Kenobi theory because in my opinion it makes no sense, because J.J. Abrams said that the new movies are not canon, so that means Obi-Wan Kenobi will not necessarily have a girlfriend or anything. And the other thing is that people around Star Wars said that they will not affect old characters that cannot come back to like justify the reasons for the new information we might have for them. So that means we know that Obi-Wan was very strict to the Jedi code, so they won't change that and modify a character in the way that the older movies would not make sense anymore. So the 3 main theories are: first, she is the daughter of Luke Skywalker. I think that's the most realistic scenario. I would say about 60, 65, maybe 70% chances that this will be true. The other theory would be that she is the daughter of Han Solo and Leia Organa. I would say that is about 20-25% possible. And the last theory would be that she is a new character, not related to anybody that we have known in the past movies. So I would give that a 10 or 15% chance of happening. So first of all, let's start with the theory saying that she is the daughter of Luke Skywalker. We see in the movie that she is very strong with the Force, and that doesn't lie. There is a very good chance that since she is that strong, she is probably related to 2 very strong Force users like Anakin and Luke. So in my opinion, and in many people's opinion, that would very much justify the fact that she could be a Skywalker. A good example would be that when she's captured by Kylo Ren and he tries to get inside her head to see the map that leads to Luke Skywalker, she's able to resist and actually makes him pretty much lose his mind because he cannot get inside. And then he goes to Snoke and says that she's very strong with the Force and he wasn't able to get inside of her mind. So Snoke says, okay, bring her to me, because he thinks that he will be able to do it. Another thing that would point towards her being the daughter of Luke Skywalker would be the reaction of the lightsaber when she comes into contact with it. When she touches the lightsaber, she has visions of Anakin, of Luke, and of herself, both facing Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren, which is possibly something that will happen in the future, and of her when she was young and she was abandoned on Jakku with Anchor Plot. So since the lightsaber belonged to Anakin and then to Luke, it might just be reacting because she's part of the family, probably being Luke's daughter and Anakin's granddaughter. In this flashback, another element indicates her possible relationship with Luke Skywalker. It's very unlikely she remembers her childhood because somebody probably blurred her memory, and who else than a powerful Jedi like Luke could succeed in doing such a thing? Finally, Rey shares many personality traits with Luke. First, she has great leadership, and we can see that when she's trying to escape Jakku in the Millennium Falcon with Finn. She takes control of the situation, she drives the ship, and gives very clear indications to Finn to help them escape, and they were able to do that, and in my opinion that demonstrates a lot of leadership by Rey. Another point is that she's very brave. We can see that when she's captured in the First Order vessel, she manages to escape by pulling the mind trick on the stormtrooper played by Daniel Craig, and then is able to find her way back to Finn and Han, while she could have very well just stayed there and waited for somebody to come and rescue her, but she took the initiative of trying to find her way back, and that paid out. Finally, we can see that she's very bold. She does not hesitate to take big risks to get out of problematic situations, as when she climbs a wall in the vessel of the First Order to try to hide, or when she tries to fight Kylo Ren when she knows that she does not stand much chance. She finally manages to take over when Ren reminds her that she can use the Force when he says, "I can teach you the ways of the Force." After he said that, she took over in the battle and managed to defeat him, but did not get to finish him as the planet split open and she needed to leave. We can also see throughout the movie that they have a lot in common. Both were abandoned on a desert planet while not knowing their parents, both were led into the war by droids, and both discovered their hidden powers later on. They also both are very skilled pilots and have great knowledge in mechanical engineering. Also in Disney Infinity's The Force Awakens game, in the scene where Rey battles Kylo Ren, you can clearly hear him say, "Fight me, cousin," to Rey. That could have been a deliberate mislead, but it seems like it was patched after the release, so it might be a direct hint at who she is, and they tried to correct their mistake. You could also consider that according to George Lucas, the Jedi Code indicates that a Jedi Knight must not be celibate. The thing that is forbidden is attachments and possessive relationships. Therefore, it is not impossible that Luke had children, in all respect to the code. Another thing that I noticed is that if Leia was really Luke's closest relative, it would make sense that she would go find Luke and bring him back. However, it seems like Leia sends Rey instead because she shares a deeper connection with him, and it's the better option because Luke has a lot to tell Rey about herself. However, there are things that I don't really understand if Luke was really Rey's father. I just don't see why Luke would have abandoned Rey in a similar if not harsher condition to his own when he was young. Knowing how much of a challenge it would be to her as a loving parent, this is probably the last scenario I would opt for. Also, we need to be careful because it could all be a deliberate mislead from J.J. Abrams, who said that he left every single scenario open so the next movie's crew can go in the direction they want. So that pretty much sums up the Luke Skywalker theory. Now on to the Han Solo / Leia-Organa theory. As I said, this is about 20-25% likely to happen in my opinion, and here are the reasons why. First, we can see that she's very natural with the Millennium Falcon. She comes in the ship and immediately understands how everything works. The commands, the power converter, the hyperspeed, everything, she understands it and she's able to fly it right away, which is very impressive for a person that never even touched the ship. It just made me think that she had that natural instinct / skill running in her blood. She also shares many characteristics with Han Solo. She's bold and brave, and she's been a lone wolf for most of her life. They also have great mechanical skills and are gifted pilots. It doesn't take long after they meet before we know there's a special synergy between them. And when she tells him her name, he immediately offers her a spot in his crew, as if he knew who she was. That would also continue the sibling theme from the original trilogy and explain why Kylo Ren immediately goes nuts when he hears about a girl helping out BB-8 to escape. He also offers to spare her life when he gets the edge in their battle. He offers her to train under him instead of defeating her, which she very likely would not do if she didn't mean anything to him. It would also explain why, even though they never met each other before, Leia and Rey hug very emotionally after she comes back from Starkiller base. For many people, the scene was similar to a mother and daughter reunion after a long separation. Also, that could be the reason why Chewie followed Rey in her quest to find Luke. Since he owed the life debt to Han, he could have decided his life debt was to be transferred to his daughter. However, there are some problems with the movie that make it sort that this scenario is pretty much unlikely to happen. The most obvious one is that never in the movie did Han and Leia talk about having another children than Ben, and never in the movie do they recognize her as their own children. Also, as I mentioned earlier, if Leia was really Luke's closest relative, it would have made sense that she would go and get Luke to bring him back. So why would Leia send her daughter to get his uncle? That would make absolutely no sense. So in my opinion, just the fact that Leia decided to send Rey indicated that she's probably not her daughter. Finally, if she really was her children, why would they abandon her after never giving up hope on Kylo Ren even after he turned to the dark side? The logical answer would be, of course, that they wanted to protect her, but if Rey really was her children, it makes no sense that they wouldn't hide her on Jakku. The best for her safety would very likely be to keep her with the Resistance, as we see that the First Order most likely has spies everywhere in the galaxy, and it would be a piece of cake for the spies to spot her on Jakku. So that's it for the Rey Solo part. Now we're up to the final scenario, which is the one that says that she's not related to any main character from the previous movies. First of all, you gotta remember that there's a beginning to every great bloodlining. Just like Anakin was the first in his lining because Shmi Skywalker declares in episode 1 that Anakin has no father, Rey could very well be the first Jedi in her own bloodline. It's possible that she simply was born an accidental Jedi with some sky-high midichlorian count, and that would make her extremely powerful. She could also have been a virgin birth in an ultimate attempt to balance out the Force with the new rise of the dark side, just like Anakin was. Rey could also be one of Luke's former Padawan that simply was able to avoid death during Kylo's rampage, might it be by hiding, faking death, or any other way. Her memory is blurred due to the traumatism, and somebody helped her escape and thought hiding her on Jakku was the best way to protect her, as nobody would think a child her age would be able to survive alone in these conditions. Maz Kanata probably knows what happened, so she told her that whomever you are waiting for on Jakku, they're not coming back. There also is a small chance that she is one of the child of one of the few Jedis that survive Order 66. Some of them could have went into hiding and decided to procreate in order to guarantee the survival of the Jedis. It is very possible that they couldn't be found by the First Order because they were in an unmapped area, and that they didn't want to come out and contact the Republic, because if the First Order learned about their exile, they would be hunted down. Concerning the Kenobi theory, my opinion is that the reason we hear Obi-Wan in the lightsaber scene is that the weapon absorbs some memories from Force-sensitive owners. Since Obi-Wan carried the Skywalker lightsaber for about 19 years before it was passed down to Luke, it is possible that some of his memories were stored into it. That would explain why when Rey touches the lightsaber, she unlocks the memories from all these Jedis that came into contact with it in the past. Therefore, she could have triggered the visions without being a Kenobi or a Skywalker. Those are all good reasons that prove that Rey might not be related to an older character from the previous movies, but there still are some problems with this. Historically, all the main characters in Star Wars have been connected in a certain way, so that would break an unwritten rule of the franchise. Finn seems to be the odd one, but we might find out more about him and his background in the next movie. But anyways, having the two main characters completely unrelated to anyone in the first 6 movies is extremely unlikely. Also, too many clues point towards her being related to previously known characters, mostly Luke, Han, Leia, and even Obi-Wan if you're a fan of that theory. And if she wasn't, that would leave too many plot holes open and have a negative effect on the entire new trilogy and would confuse the fans. After all, the Star Wars series has always been built around the Skywalker family, so that would break a tradition, and that would probably upset a large part of the fan base. Finally, Rey's last name was kept secret for spoiler reasons. If she wasn't connected to someone we know, chances are her full name would have been revealed in The Force Awakens. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys, but I'd like to know, what do you think? Who are Rey's parents, and do you think her origins will have a lot of importance on the rest of the trilogy? So, if this video gets more than 15 likes, I will do another The Force Awakens Theory video. You can vote for the next subject by commenting Kylo Ren or Finn in the comment section below. So, as I said, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and on Twitch, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!